shots, things like that, going to retrieve the ball. My partners and I will do everything we can to get the ball if we can, but just little things like that keep the game moving. White talk to white, blue talk to blue. If there's any talking to each other, my partners and I might have to get involved. Coaches might have to get involved, and then practice tomorrow might not be the most fun. Coaches, everyone's really properly equipped. We have AD or anything like that. Trainer. Okay, so any head injuries, we will stop the game, pull that player out. The trainer will see them. If the other trainer, that player is going to go back to the game. Not up to us, coaches, parents, anything like that. First horn, come out ready to play. Second horn, we're going. You guys. All right, good luck. Good luck, coach. Good luck. Thank you. Good luck, girls. Good luck. Good luck, girls.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the kitchen at PND High School for tonight's matchup between the Bulldogs of Mahomet-Seymour and home team Irish PND. First, let's get the starting lineup for the Bulldogs. A sophomore, number 1, Blair Gable. A sophomore, number 3, Casey Sears. A freshman, number 5, Helen Bird. A sophomore, number 11, Kevin Collins. And a freshman, number 23, Keelan Miller. The Bulldogs coached by Terry Hart. And now let's meet and greet Irish PND. From the guard number 3, Andy Williams. Sophomore number 10, Aislinn Allers. And sophomore number 12, Shane Larson. A sophomore number 21, Izzy Corey. And a sophomore number 32, Allie Kenny. Matters are coached by Seth Mingus. Our officials tonight, Jacob Wetzel, Jeff Willis, and Eric Jones.
It's a chilly evening here in Peoria, Illinois tonight. We are live from the kitchen at Peoria Notre Dame High School, where junior varsity girls basketball is about to kick off between the visiting Mahomet-Seymour Bulldogs and the Peoria Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Welcome here to PND TV. The first home games for either girls and boys Fighting Irish squad taking place here tonight. I am joined alongside me here by Ron Dwyer. I'm Harvey Newcomb. Welcome to the broadcast, Ron.
Thanks, Harvey. I appreciate that. It's a pleasure to be here.
Should be a competitive matchup here between two teams that are quite familiar with each other across all high school sports. Mahomet-Seymour did win the tip-off. They are working with the ball on the right side here. Again, 8-minute quarters for this one. And remember, if you were watching the broadcast now, stay tuned because varsity girls is happening right after this one. At the top here, this is Steers. Miller sets a screen. Gable takes to the right side. Some contact, and that's going to be a foul on the Irish. Mahomet-Seymour electing to slow the ball down just a little bit here. This is going to be Collins into inbound for the Bulldogs. Inside pass, it's tipped away by Peoria Notre Dame. Taken back by Collins. Short baseline jumper for Steers, and that's good for Mahomet-Seymour. First points on the board for either team here. Now here's the Irish working on the perimeter. Williams goes in, loses it. That's going to be taken by Gable. Cross-court pass to Steers. Steers looking. Some off-ball screens here. Gable over to Miller. Miller had it tipped away, but that's going to stay Mahomet-Seymour. That's going to be off of Kinning. Good awareness from her on that tip, though.
Really, I think it's amazing how patient they've come out.
Now Steers. Steers finds a lane under the inside, kicks it out to Collins. Collins trapped in the corner, trying to get it off. That's going to be stolen. Driving to the lane, coast to coast. That's going to be Izzy Corey with the basket. All tied up 2-2 here. Just under 6 minutes left in the first quarter. And the Irish are going to be putting on a full court press here. Steers crosses the half court line. Brings it over to Collins. Collins driving in. Collins looked like she might have gotten held a little bit, some contact, and that's going to be a travel turnover on the ball, and that's going to come back to Peoria.
Yeah, definitely. You saw that she took the extra step there on the replay.
Williams, Corey setting the screen. Williams kicks it down. Bit of an errant pass, but they're going to say it was off of the Bulldogs. Peoria Notre Dame retaining possession here. Larson to inbound. Larson gets it to Kinning. Kinning swings it to the corner. That's going to be a tough corner shot, but she manages to get one in. That's going to be Corey again.
That was
all
really,
5 points.
Yeah, very nice. She put a lot of arch on that. That was amazing. Thought for a minute it was going to touch the ceiling, but went right through the basket.
Steers manages to get it up to Gable. Gable over to the corner. That's going to be stolen by Peoria. Williams going to elect to slow it down here as the time goes under 5 minutes. Inside to Kinning.
Nice.
Kinning wide open for the basket, and that's going to be another Irish bucket. They're on a 7-0 run right here inside the kitchen.
Yeah, that was a nice job there of finding the open player there underneath the basket. That was a great job. And their pressure's done a good job here as well. Another travel.
Got to be careful not to make a lot of these mistakes early on in the game. Peoria going to once again get the ball, as the Bulldogs offense has not been able to operate very smoothly apart from that first possession where they did score a bucket.
You know, you kind of wonder, did the Notre Dame coach make an adjustment there right away, because Mahomet came out very patient, and then all of a sudden Notre Dame after that first possession put the pressure on and has created the turnovers now all of a sudden. Changed the game really, the tempo.
Definitely. Corey has it currently. Entry pass in, wide open in the corner.
Ooh.
That's going to be off, rebounded. And they're going to call a bit of a blocking foul there off the rebound. That's going to be on Corey. A lot of sophomores on this JV team, Ron.
Yeah, that's a good thing if you're a JV coach. You've got a lot of experience then on your squad. Yeah, as I look at the roster, there's quite a few sophomores. Only a couple of freshmen. That means experience at this level.
Steers manages to get across. Pass over to Bird. Haven't seen much of her today yet, but that may change. It's going to be taken out of her hands by Larson. Larson loses it, throws it up, wrestled out of bounds, and they're going to call it in favor of the Irish. Larson undefended on the inbounds pass. She goes back door, could have hit her back door there with the pass. That's going to be Corey with the turnaround jumper, and she gets that one to go in.
I saw that same thing, that back cut, but boy, she hit that turnaround really nice, so it didn't cost him in the end that she missed the back cut.
Steers open in the corner, shot's going to be no good from Miller. This is going to be the offensive rebound.
That was a nice rebound there by Bird.
Bird with her first points for Mahomet-Seymour. Larson wide open from three, gets her feet set. That's going to be off. Rebounded by Corey. Corey's shot's going to be blocked by Bird. Bird making plays on both ends of the floor here.
That was an excellent rebound, but well defended that time by the Bulldogs.
Gable was calling for it in the corner. She does get the pass. Steers making her way around a screen from Bird. Steers goes left. Stops and pops, decides not to shoot. Gable back to Steers. Bench for Mahomet-Seymour calling South Dakota. There's possibly a bit of a play call here. Pass goes through the hands of Gable, and it's going to be taken by the Irish. Driving down the lane, Corey's going to be fouled. That's going to be 2 free throws for her. Peoria really capitalizing off of the turnovers here, capitalizing off of some of the mistakes that Mahomet-Seymour is making early.
That seems to be what's driving the game right now, the turnovers that are being created by the Irish defense.
I mean, it's what every coach in basketball will tell you regardless of the level. Defense turns into offense.
Yes, and that's what we're seeing here for sure.
There's going to be a timeout on the floor in the middle of the free throw trip from Corey. 10-4 from Peoria. What have you seen early so far from Peoria that's led them to build up this lead?
Well, it's exactly what we just talked about a few minutes ago. The turnovers, after that first possession, I think the Notre Dame coaching staff saw that Mahomet was going to be very patient and take their time to look for the right shot. And I think the strategy by the coaching staff was then to turn up the pressure on the following possession. They did some pressing and trapping, and that's created all these turnovers. I don't have the count in front of me, but I would say at least a half a dozen have been created just in front of me here this first part of this first quarter, and that's led to these points and the lead that the Irish have.
And the types of turnovers are also important. They're the turnovers where maybe you've recovered it, but you're deep in your own backcourt and you can't necessarily push the ball forward. And then there are the ones where you can get some easy fast break points. And oftentimes the latter has happened. That's going to be a free throw violation there, as I believe the ball did not hit the rim. Mahomet-Seymour going to take over it. But once again, just this press from Peoria, preventing them from getting up the floor. But as I say that, the lob pass to Bird makes it so that the Bulldogs can set up their offense. This is Steers going around screens, goes baseline, maybe stepped out of bounds, gets it to Bird. Bird has Williams tightly guarding her. Now this is going to be Collins. Collins is doubled by Peoria, trying to get out of it, using her pivot foot, but they are ultimately going to call a reach. That one is going to be on Williams.
Again, the Irish defense, they're trying to be tenacious and just got to prevent yourself from reaching. That's what caused the foul.
Gable in the backcourt, handoff to Steers. Steers' pass goes over the head of Collins, but unfortunately a travel called on Kinning. She got a little excited after that steal there, forgot to dribble.
I think it is exciting when you get a turnover like that.
Possibly a bit ahead of herself there, but the early part of this game, especially when you have a lead like the Irish, that's kind of time when you can get those early game jitters and those mistakes out of the way.
Yeah, and those are mistakes that coaches like to see. Those are what's called aggressive mistakes. Nothing, too bad there. You'd rather have the girls continue to play that tight defense and create turnovers. You can accept those small mental errors when they happen when you're being aggressive.
Collins for the Bulldogs missing that mid-range jumper. Now Peoria setting their offense on the other end. Ehlers inside.
Ooh.
Hard contact on the shot there. That's going to be 2 free throws for Larson. Couldn't quite see who that foul was called on. But it's going to be 2 free throws regardless. First one goes in.
11.
They are going to credit the foul to Collins on Mahomet-Seymour. Second free throw up. That one's also good. 2 from the line that time. Peoria Notre Dame now with an 8-point lead. Gable finds Collins.
Ooh, I was going to say, I thought I saw her travel, and then they did call it, so.
Collins took a bit of a stutter step forward, and that's going to be a traveling call. That's traveling on both ends, costing teams offensive possessions here.
Again, when kids get going too fast, sometimes their body is faster than their brain can think sometimes, and they just move their feet without knowing that they did it. But that's why we have referees.
Corey at the top. Williams on the inside,
Very
over
nice.
2 defenders, and the left hook goes in.
Great job there by the Irish. That was a great pass, great assist, and then a great finish there by Notre Dame.
That's going to be another travel for the Bulldogs. This one going to be on Gable. Just look at the replay of that shot. She was able to get the shot so high, almost like kind of the sweeping hook.
It's a great job.
Preventing the block on the other end.
Both girls there did a great job. And great finish, because that's hard to finish when you're that tight underneath the basket like that. There it is again.
Corey using the pivot shot goes a little bit long, though, and that's going to be rebounded.
Nice move, just didn't finish the shot.
Pull-up jumper is good, and that's going to be Mills, who just checked into the game for Mahomet-Seymour.
And that's their first basket in quite a while, I believe, during this quarter.
In quite a few minutes. The lead now below double digits for Peoria. Kinning on the inside.
Gosh.
Good entry pass from Larson, but that one doesn't go. Mahomet-Seymour, they're going to need to push the ball. Collins up to Gable. Gable inside to Bird. Bird, this is going to be the last shot of the quarter. She gets that one to go in just before the buzzer. That's going to be the end of the first quarter. Bulldogs putting on a little bit of a run going into the break between the quarter. The score, Peoria 14, Mahomet-Seymour 8. We have a bit of performance from the cheerleaders here, but some high-octane basketball, especially towards the end of the quarter. While we have a quick break into the action here, let's give a quick shout out to the sponsors here. This is going to be Green Chevy and the Liali Joesting family. Shout out to them for sponsoring both this broadcast and Peoria Notre Dame.
Sponsorship, yeah, I was going to say sponsorship is awesome. High schools absolutely need businesses and different individuals to sponsor things because of the cost of everything. So thank you again. Can't do the things that we do without sponsorship, so thank you.
Both teams breaking their huddles for the start of the second quarter. Peoria Notre Dame is going to take possession as Mahomet-Seymour did win the jump ball.
This will be fun to see now that we start a new quarter if Mahomet had time to make an adjustment to Notre Dame's pressure.
Here's Williams. Williams trying to decide where to go. Hard screen by Kinning. Williams gets it over to Larson. Larson uncovered. Shot rims out. That's to be rebounded by Collins. Now Steers, the de facto ball handler for this team. Unfortunately, going to be off the hands of Mills and out of bounds. A little bit too much mustard on that pass there. Some substitutions here for both teams. For Peoria, it's going to be Lucy Cusack checking in. And then Keely Miller re-entering the game for the Bulldogs. Now it's going to be Williams bringing the ball up. Corey, quick shot off the pass. That one's going to be knocked down. She's comfortable shooting from there. That's her range.
Well, when you said quick shot, I was thinking very quick shot. She just caught that thing squared up and let it fly, and it was right down the drain. So nice job. A lot of confidence.
Entry pass to Mills is good. It's now 17-10. Corey finds Ehlers in the corner. Now Ehlers again. In the triple threat motion, drives to the corner, but is going to be covered heavily. Peoria going to pass it back out. Now it's Larson. Corey, she's looking for that shot again. That left wing three-pointer, but that's going to be taken away by Mills. Driving the lane, gets through, loses the ball, falls on it, and that's going to be called a jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of Mahomet-Seymour. Possession error, one of those things that you don't often think about, but really comes into play, especially late during these games.
Well, this to me kind of feels like one of those games where possession is going to be important as we get further into the contest. The game is starting to tighten up here a little bit.
Miller driving in and draws the foul. See, she took the handoff there and was able to get around Corey and then maybe pump fake for just a second. Got her in the air, and that's going to be some free throws.
Mahomet's definitely gotten much more aggressive now when they controlled the ball.
They've realized that when their offense slows down, they don't necessarily have as many opportunities. It gives Peoria more opportunities to steal the ball and take it down the other way. But when you're out of position after an offensive possession and you're on defense, that's when some of those buckets can come. Ehlers out to Corey. Corey with the defender in her face, banks it home from the right wing. That's going to be back to a double-digit lead for Peoria Notre Dame. Corey reining in the buckets today.
Tons of confidence. Once again, just let it fly, and sure enough, that bank was open, and great three-pointer. Really helped extend the lead back to 10 points.
Mills looked like she might have gotten fouled, but they called the traveling before.
Here's that three again.
And she just has that little bit of separation. If you play off of her for half a second, it's already too late.
Yeah, she's made up her mind quickly, and she has a lot of confidence taking her shot, and I don't blame her because she's made a couple big threes here.
Corey threads the needle down to Ehlers, but that's going to be no good. Bulldogs bringing it up the floor now. Shot on the baseline is going to be no good. Saved, but it's going to be right into the hands of Larson. Larson speeding down the floor. No one to beat, but the shot's going to go up and is no good. Tipped out. This is going to be Ehlers for three. Also no good. Another offensive rebound. Also no good. Bobbled by Mills, and it's going to stay Peoria.
Down there, girls.
That was a lot of hustle there by the Irish on the boards. They had multiple girls crashing, and they end up with the possession.
I mean, at one point you had someone on the floor while you had two people still rebounding.
Just a lot of, that's called hustle, and Notre Dame's always had hustle. Their coaches emphasize that. It's a pleasure to watch that.
Corey's shot no good, but they're going to say it was off the hands of Mahomet-Seymour once again.
That was fortunate, I think, that time, but I think the Irish will take the break here.
Looked like Cusack maybe had touched it trying to go for the rebound. It looks like maybe hands from both teams were on it. Out in the corner, driving in. Back out to Larson. Larson stops and pops, but that's going to be another extra step, and a travel is called.
Just that little hop step. Both feet came down, not at the same time, but in different pitter-patter, and that's what caused the travel.
So you saw her foot drag there, trying to not take that extra step, but it did come off the ground. Steers gets it past midcourt. This is going to be Gable. Gable driving into the lane, but the ball goes off her foot. Larson picks it up, gets it to Corey. Corey down to Ehlers. Turns around, shot, hits the back rim and out, but that's going to be rebounded. And another sideline out of bounds in favor of Peoria.
Very fortunate. Again, they're just getting a lot of the opportunities here, but again, I think it's created by the hustle. They're really hustling.
They're able to kind of extend these possessions. Great inbounds pass. That's going to be Ashlyn Ehlers with her first bucket of the game, I believe. Great pass off the inbounds, and just the separation, getting that easy layup. Now it's going to be the Bulldogs on the other end. Down 12, they need to get something going before the end of the quarter. It's going to be a long three from Gable. That's going to be out. Rebounded by Corey, pushing it down the floor, but she's going to overthrow Caroline Elam.
It's one of those situations, again, like the travel we mentioned before, that's just extra effort, and there's a mistake there, but that's aggressive. So the coach understands that and can forgive that. They want to, Notre Dame actually definitely wants to keep pushing the ball. That's what's got them out of this lead.
Here's Gable, doubled by Peoria, gets it out to Bird. Now Steers using the screen from Bird to try and operate, but kicks it back out to Miller. Stolen by Peoria, pushing it down the floor. This is going to be Larson one-on-one, gets bumped a little bit, but gets it back out to Ehlers. Ehlers, the shot bounces around the rim and goes in.
That was a good, strong basket that time by Ehlers. Very nice job. Good confidence, went up strong.
You heard the Peoria bench call for a travel, and it was granted. They're going to get the ball again. They just keep building this lead slowly. It's now 24-10. Just over 3 minutes left before the half. Fast-moving game for the most part. That means pretty clean game, not too many fouls overall.
Yeah, it's amazing. I believe, I agree with you, absolutely. It's been very clean. And especially with Notre Dame's pressure, you would think there might be more whistles, but boy, it has been a clean game.
Entry pass. There's going to be a foul possibly off ball on the entry pass. Some subs coming in for Peoria. Kinning checking back into the game. She had a strong first quarter for her. Inbounds pass goes awry. Larson's going to pick it up, and she's off to the races. She has a few teammates with her. Shot's going to be just a little bit too strong off the backboard, and they're going to call another jump ball here. Possession arrow in favor of the Irish.
That was just another example, I think. I just have to keep repeating the hustle. She got her own rebound. That's what caused that jump ball and gave Notre Dame their possession and the basket right there.
A lot of great passing is what's making these buckets. That's going to be Kinning with another one here. Just checked back into the game moments ago and is already making a contribution. There's going to be a timeout called. Timeout called by Mahomet-Seymour. We could hear it just over here by our broadcasting booth here. And pretty good timing as well. Just moments later, there was a pass that would have gone out of bounds in favor of Peoria. Just look at this replay here. Player who's probably made the most impact for the Irish so far is going to be Izzy Curry, the sophomore here. Operating on offense in both aspects, both with the scoring and with the passing as well. Just a dynamic player overall, and we've seen multiple of these buckets off of these inbounds passes.
Yeah, I think it's just, I see a couple things. The team is very unselfish. They seem to find different people depending on who's open rather than forcing things. And tenacity is another word that comes up. They've been very tenacious on defense, and that's created the turnovers that have created these baskets for them.
Everybody getting involved in the offense. You love to see it.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. It's a sign of a well-coached team is what it is. And again, I would say also watching Mahomet-Seymour, they seem to be well-coached as well. Right now, it's simply the Notre Dame pressure that is giving them trouble.
Bulldogs with only 2 points scored in this quarter. They ended off the first quarter with some momentum, but were kind of unable to take that into the second quarter, but they've still got 2.5 minutes to get some buckets before the half. Inside pass is going to be stolen by Kinning. Down the floor is Peoria, and that's going to be an easy bucket from Larson. We've seen her really come into her own, especially on the fast break. Now this is Mills, gets it to Steers. Steers with the crossover. Hand off to Mills. At the top of the key, that was Bird. She could have taken the three, but chose not to. That one, not sure if it was possibly tipped by an Irish defender, but it was ultimately not. You saw Miller with the shot there. Just didn't quite have the arc on it to get it up to the point of making it. And the Bulldogs haven't really been able to utilize the three-pointer as much as Peoria Notre Dame has. And as I say that, an attempt from the quarter here, nothing but net from Lucy Cusack.
I was going to say just perfect timing by you. You called it, and sure enough, another three goes flying up and in.
The opposite of the commentator's curse, if you will. It's going to be Bird with the 2-on-1. It's going to be tipped out of bounds from Cusack there on the other end. Heads-up play preventing the easy bucket.
Here's that replay again.
You're going to see she's going to drive. The help comes. Obviously, if you're Mahomet-Seymour, you want to provide help on the inside because Peoria has been burning you from there, but then it just opens up those three-point opportunities that really they're not going to miss out on.
Just another unselfish play to an open shooter. And the girls have done a nice job of shooting the basketball. They've been pretty darn accurate from three-point land.
That's going to be a jump ball. Looks like Steers and Kinning got tangled up a little bit there. The ball is going to be in favor of the Bulldogs, but they didn't have anybody to inbound. They might have thought that the possession arrow still was in the hands of Peoria. Steers is going to be trapped at the corner, but manages to get it to Mills. Driving in, this shot's going to be too strong from Miller. And Corey off to the races. Bobbles it a little bit, finds Kinning. Easy bucket from Kinning there. Corey just seemingly with eyes in the back of her head.
For a second, I thought, wow, you're out of control there. Slow down a little bit. But, boy, she found the open player there. So she kept her eyes up, which is important.
Penelope Bird, the freshman, finding the bucket on the other end there. Just about 30 seconds left. Now, if you're Irish, you have to make the decision whether you try to go maybe for like a 2-for-1, if you think that the Bulldogs are going to try and get a fast bucket, or you're going to hold it from the last shot. They're going to take one now. That three is going to be just to the right from Natalie Buckart, the freshman.
Watching their style of play this half, I would have bet that they were going to go ahead and fire one up. They've been really aggressive, and they've taken open shots when they have them.
Bird got bumped by Corey there. Neither team in the bonus right now, so they're going to keep playing with 5 seconds left. You're thinking that you possibly try and get a shot off the inbounds pass here. Might be the most opportunity to create separation, considering how up close and personal this Peoria defense has been. Pass goes into Bird. Bird got whacked a little bit by Kinning. Still not in the bonus, though.
That's an amazing statistic there, and it speaks to how clean this half has been by both teams with the fouls.
Bird going to get it once again. She only has a few seconds left, needs to get a shot up, but is unable to. Instead swings the ball over to a teammate, and it's going to be halftime. Peoria Notre Dame sporting an almost 20-point lead here. What do you have? What comments do you have about the first half here, Ron?
Well, I think both teams, I've noticed that they're very well coached, both teams. In fact, if I had to guess, I bet Mahomet-Seymour does very well in their conference with the teams they play. You can just tell that they're well disciplined, and they've got some players.
They're running their offense. They're kind of making the necessary passes that against most other teams would lead to buckets, but the shots just aren't necessarily falling.
Absolutely. I mean, their offense looks very well drilled, and they are running it well. I find it interesting. I think one of their better players seems to be the Penelope Bird, number 5.
They are running the offense through her, even though
she's the freshman, out of that group out there. She's the only freshman. She is a freshman.
She does play kind of inside-outside, even though she is more of a big archetype.
She seems to be, I mean, I can see the hesitation sometimes by her, and I know her coaches are encouraging her to be more aggressive and take some more shots, but if you can remember back to what it's like to be a freshman on a sophomore team, that's hard to be aggressive. There's a little peer pressure there that she may not feel comfortable with. It's early in the season, and I think if we had to play Mahomet-Seymour later in the year, you would see a different Penelope Bird. She'd probably be much more confident, and I bet she scores more when she gets her confidence. And then on the other side of things, Notre Dame, I just see, again, total team effort, a lot of tenacity, a lot of teamwork and hustle. They're very well coached and disciplined, and they're very impressive to watch. I know it's a sophomore group mostly, and that shows because you can see the experience with how they've handled the first half.
And both of these teams, they do have their fair share of turnovers, but I think the main difference is just the space that Peoria has been able to create on the inside because they have such a strong three-point shooting game. You've seen it at their varsity level where they love running plays based around the perimeter, and that's kind of trickled down to the JV level, even though head coach Lane Longhoff, who coaches varsity, is not on the JV coaching staff, and said head coach Seth Mingus, but they still have similar enough offensive philosophies where you can kind of see shades of varsity being played on the JV level.
And that really, that's going to tell you quite a bit about how Mr. Langhoff runs his program. That means it's from top down, very similar, and that's what you want. You want these girls coming up through your program knowing what their responsibilities and roles are when they get on that varsity team, and they run their offense very well, like you said. They do a nice job of taking the open three, and then that forces the defense to come out. And when they come out, then they have those inside passes that they've done a very nice job of getting the ball inside as well. So hats off right now to Notre Dame's coaching and the style of play. It seems to be working.
We'll see if they can continue to build on their 19-point lead going into the half, or if Mahomet-Seymour tries to make a bit of an upset run here inside the kitchen here at Peoria Notre Dame High School. We're going to go to a quick break in halftime, about 7 minutes left before the second half. We're going to have both varsity teams from each squad doing a little bit of shoot around in preparation beforehand. We'll see you in just a little bit. Peoria, Illinois, live from the kitchen at Peoria Notre Dame High School. Just about ready to kick off the second half here between the visiting Mahomet-Seymour Bulldogs and your Peoria Notre Dame Fighting Irish. For those of you tuning live on YouTube at Peoria Notre Dame Athletics, specifically PND TV, thank you to everyone tuning in, as we're going to have some fast-paced play coming right out of the half, as there's going to be a traveling turnover on Mahomet-Seymour. That's going to be a travel. That was the story of the first half for them. They weren't necessarily able to get too many offensive possessions running, often hindered by turnovers or traveling violations. Now Peoria shooting on the other side of the court here.
Oh.
Tries to go baseline and shoot under the basket, but that's going to go off the bottom of the backboard.
That's
and
a
back
tough
to the
thing.
Bulldogs.
Yeah, that was a tough thing she tried to do there.
Now you can still at least give her credit for trying. They're up 19 points, so they can kind of, I guess, experiment with plays like that. But at the same time, we've seen that this Mahomet-Seymour team can be competitive, especially given how they ended that first quarter. But they just weren't able to quite put it together in the second quarter, as the player of the first half for Peoria, Izzy Corey, gets the bucket there. The lead for them now 23. There's going to be a bit of a tangle up at half court, but it's going to be recovered by Collins of Mahomet-Seymour. Now Steers. Steers ran the offense for them in the first half to varying degrees of success. Now it's going to be down to Bird, goes through her legs and skip pass to Larson. Larson going with it. The left hand goes up and in. Shot goes for her. The lead up to Peoria for 25. They've really been able to capitalize off the fast break here.
Yeah, that was a nice job, too, by Larson. With the scoop, left-handed scoop shot there, that's tough to do. A lot of kids have trouble if that's their offhand. She did a very nice job there.
Miller in the corner here. Miller drew a double for a second there. This is going to be back up to Steers. Steers into Bird. Bird almost immediately doubled. Collins, corner shot. Going to be just above the three-point line. But this is going to be stolen back by Collins. But Peoria's defense is going to continue to swarm anyone who has the ball. Bird gets the shot up. That's going to be tipped by Williams. Rebounded by Miller. But a foul will be called. That looks like it's not going to be in continuation. So no shooting foul. It's going to be sideline out of bounds with Collins to inbound.
Just a little too over-aggressive there. Again, you don't want to calm that down, that aggressiveness. You want to keep it going. That's what's created this advantage.
Gable driving from the right side. Shot no good. She's going to get her own rebound. Shot, second attempt is no good. That's going to be rebounded by Kinning. Now Larson going to opt to slow it down a little bit. Larson goes right, gets past the defender. Contested shot goes in.
Really
She's just
nicely
fearless.
done. Yeah, that was nicely done. That's a tough move right there for anybody at any level, and to see it here at the JV level, the way she switched hands and was able to scoop that in there. That was well done.
That's going to be a backcourt violation on Mahomet-Seymour. You saw Gable try to get it to Collins. But let's look at this last play from Larson here. She kind of does a little hesitation, but then goes around to the right.
Great footwork.
That offhand, that's the fundamentals that you as a basketball coach love to see, especially if you're Seth Mingus. Larson with another one inside. That's going to be another bucket here. Peoria now on an 10-0 run ever since coming out of the half here. Just 3 minutes gone here in the third quarter, and it is 41-12. Shot from the corner, no good. You see Mahomet-Seymour trying to open up their three-point game, but haven't been able to get anything to go so far.
It's really tough. It's almost like, if I compare it to like an NFL football game, and now when you have to come back and you're down by this much, a quarterback has to drop back and throw, and then you can rush there. Well, Notre Dame's kind of like the defense, rushing the quarterback. They are pressuring, and Mahomet's forced to just take shots they probably don't want to because they have to get back into the game.
And you see, even when Mahomet-Seymour, they try and kick down the ball to Bird, she immediately gets doubled, which makes it a bit more difficult to kind of get a shot up. She has to try and pass it out, which sometimes will result in turnovers.
I'm curious to know, one thing I'm curious to know by watching the game is, do the varsity and sophomores, JV, we call them today, are they practicing together? Because it almost looks like it. The way these girls hustle, and they seem to be a step quicker than Mahomet tonight. And I wonder if that's from working with older girls who are, you know, a little bit more physical, a little bit quicker. I'd be interested. That's something I'll find out for next game and let you guys know.
You see quite a few sophomores on the varsity roster. Their roster, they don't necessarily get playing time, but they're still kind of on the bench getting experience and mentorship from these seniors, even though they don't have too many seniors on the varsity roster this year.
And that's kind of important because those are the behind-the-scenes things at practice that we don't see out here at the game, but boy, you can see it paying off just by the way they all hustle and they attack the ball on defense. It's you can tell they have to be practicing with older athletes just because, you know, they're just used to this pressure. It's not bothering them whatsoever, and they really are aggressive.
They're going to call a travel on Larson here, but I think it was actually a double dribble. You saw she picked up her dribble there and then bounced it once more. Maybe a combination of both, but either way, you saw her speed going down the floor. It just opens up so many opportunities for this Irish offense, whether that be a bucket inside or kicking it out to a shooter, where if you're the Bulldogs, you have to provide help on a drive by Larson.
This is the kind of thing, too, that when they say rebuild or reload, this reloads your program. When you have this many sophomores getting that much experience, you can just keep reloading your varsity program with great experienced players. And I can see that happening here in this game.
Williams is going to be fouled after she steals it on the other end.
Because despite the score, I mean, I know our score is pretty out of hand here, but I still think by watching Mahomet, they're a good team. And they'll win more games than they lose this year. It's just Notre Dame's pressure and their tenacity's really changed this game into their favor.
Timeout's going to be called by Peoria Notre Dame here. 3:31 left to go in the third quarter. Again, thank you very much for tuning into the broadcast on ND TV here on YouTube. Just great fan turnout, especially for a JV game here. We're going to look at some of these plays from the second half. A lot of it is going to be Larson just getting past the defense, getting behind them. And then you see she's going to kind of do this stutter step here, draw the defender back, almost like lull her to sleep, for lack of a better word for it, and then just go in from the right side.
She created her own space. And look at the entry pass there.
She's getting involved on the ball, off the ball.
Yeah.
And also someone who's getting involved was Corey in the first half, but her shot's going to be no good, but it's going to be an offensive rebound. Williams with the pump fake. She's going to be backed into a corner, but manages to get it inside. Shot's going to be a little bit long from Cusack, and it's going to be rebounded by Collins.
Well, I know she didn't make the shot, but what a great example again of the unselfish play. Notre Dame making several passes before they find the best shot.
This is going to be Miller driving in. Got it. And the foul. She's going to have a chance for a three-point play here. Haven't seen too much of that here this game. Usually when the shooting fouls have happened, it's been on shots where the foul has made it so the bucket's been nearly impossible.
I like what Miller did there. She got very aggressive and decided, I'm going to take it to the bucket, and she did. And it created the opportunity here for three-point play.
Free throw is not going to go for Miller, and that's going to be another violation where Peoria gets it sideline out of bounds, rather on the baseline. And this is going to be Williams. You see Williams and Larson have mainly been trading off ball handling duties. Larson's actually out of the game right now with a well-deserved rest, but unfortunately a turnover by Peoria, and Mahomet-Seymour is going to have the ball back the other way. Driving in is Mills. Mills is going to have it taken away for a second, manages to get it back, trying to find someone to get it to, finds Miller at the top of the key. Miller looks like she's going to try to put the ball on the floor, and she does. Ball gets tipped a little bit by Jolie Mingus. And now there's going to be another double team from Peoria, and they're going to say that she moved her pivot foot. That's going to be Middleton with the travel for Mahomet. Substitution coming in for the Irish. This is actually going to be somebody that we do not have on the roster. We do not have a number 24 for junior varsity. Either way, Mingus is going to have the ball on the perimeter here. Kicks it out. Entry pass Shot's going to be too strong off the backboard. Bird with the rebound. Bird's going to try to bring it up the floor herself. Changes her mind and gets it to Mills. Mills back up to Bird. Bird looking. Kind of using her hand to keep the ball, keep the defender at arm's length. Corner 3 shot open. That's not going to go, but Bird is going to get it. Just reaches over
Nice
Larson. Post move good. She gets another rebound. Doesn't use the glass, though, on that shot. But again, they're going to have a third or fourth chance here. Top of the key 3 for Mills.
Nice
and
shot.
that's going to be the first 3 for the Bulldogs here tonight with 1:30 left in the third quarter.
Mahomet, they showed some patience there to find the great shot. But again, being very aggressive, they have to be to get back into this game.
Now here's Larson back into the game for the Irish. Draws the defenders, kicks it out to Mingus. Mingus with the long 2. No good, rebounded by Mahomet. You've got someone down the floor, and that's going to be Mills, who's made quite an impact in this second half, and that's going to be another bucket for her. Mahomet, despite still being down by over 20, they're building up some sort of a momentum here. Inside, they're going to call a travel on Cusack there. Doesn't look like she necessarily agrees with that there. And we look at that, and she just immediately gets doubled. It's almost like Mahomet's kind of using the tactics that Peoria used on them in the first half to an extent. Now you're going to see Bird with it. The offense running through the big. Ball's going to be off the hands of Marin Bernotas. And that's going to be Irish ball there. 35 seconds left. Irish, once again, just like in the second quarter, they have to make the decision of whether they want to slow their offense down and speed it up. They're going to speed it up. Mingus with the long 2, no good. Rebound by Bernotas. Mills with another 3. She had one earlier, but that one's not going to go. And Eiler's just going to let that one roll out of bounds. 16 seconds left. The Irish looking to push their lead further. It's going to be Eilers. One-on-one with Bird. Finds Cusack for the 3. Bank shot, no good, but that's going to be rebounded. They're going to have one more opportunity here. Shot's going to be blocked by Bird, and that's the end of the third quarter. You saw it in the first quarter. The Bulldogs made a little bit of a stand towards the end of the third quarter, but I'm afraid it might be too little, too late for the visitors here.
I think that's what we've seen, is that both teams have started to make some substitutions and try to get more girls involved here, especially with an early game, early in the season, to try to get as many players in as possible. And that's changed the tempo, whereas some of Mahomet's players who were still the starters have been left in, and they've been able to score now a little bit. But slowly, Mahomet now is also making substitutions. So that's a good thing to see. Get everybody early in the year a chance to play.
Okay, so
And it makes it so that, while yes, obviously you want to get some of your bench players and some people maybe wouldn't normally play in the closer games, you still want to make sure that your offense is running as smoothly as normal, because the idea is you want to have people ready to come into the game at a moment's notice. There are some injuries on the varsity roster that will probably warrant that. Some of the sophomores for Peoria you see playing right now, they may get some action depending on the game script for varsity. Let's jump right back into the junior varsity game, the one that is going on currently. And looks like there's going to be a bit of a clock error. Looks like a few seconds ticked off when they shouldn't have. Going to reset it to 8 minutes here.
Well, especially with it being this early in the year, you know, coaches are still trying to figure. They have an idea maybe of who they want to nominate as starters and who comes off the bench, but they're probably still figuring a lot of that out. Oh, wow. Wow, there's another 3.
Corey opening up the quarter with a 3 ball from the corner. Just accidentally rhymed there.
She's been really, I was going to say, she's been really good tonight. That's at least 3 that I can remember she's made. I'm sure she's made more. But she hasn't missed a lot of them. I know that. They've gone in most
And you
of the
can
time.
tell that she just has the shot confidence that not every player necessarily has. She has it, and she just takes it, makes sure her feet are set. She makes sure her feet are set, and that her body's turned towards the basket so that she has that proper shooting form, and then hoists them.
Yeah, she doesn't hesitate. And, you know, you mentioned the form is right on. You know what that is? That's probably hours and hours in the off season of shooting, either here in the gym or at home somewhere on a basket, but she's done a lot of shooting somewhere. And good, that shows. She's got confidence.
Maybe even training with some of the veterans.
Yep.
Her veteran teammates that are going to be playing on varsity
There's
here.
that same move. This time Mahomet tried it.
That one a little bit more successful, but it is unable to go. Curry's going to have it driving in. Pump fake. There's going to be, looks like the ball was tipped out by Mahomet. Oh, rather,
Notre Dame, I guess.
I saw the referee point the Notre Dame side. It is going to be the Bulldogs taking it up. They're down by 25 with just under 7 minutes left to go in this fourth quarter.
Nice steal.
Intercepted by Williams. Williams going to
Good
take
finish.
it down. Very controlled drive, controlled finish.
Great job. Very nice on the finish.
She was able to anticipate that pass there and turn it into immediate points.
That was a really nice job, yep. And it's still, even with different faces out here on the floor a little bit, the pressure by Notre Dame is still on the defensive end.
Elam is going to be tagged with the reach there. That's only her first foul. And we're going to have some more substitutions for Peoria Notre Dame. Steers in triple threat motion. This is going to be Mills with the corner three. No good. Looks like it could have been an offensive rebound, but it's picked up by Williams. Williams on the sideline. Almost looks like she's trapped, but manages to get through. Passes to the inside. Tough passes she was able to make, but immediately leads to, it looks like a jump ball. Or rather, they're going to call a foul on the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it might have been a jump ball, but it looks like we have a foul.
Cusack finds Buckhart on the inside, but she's going to be fouled on the shot.
Again, another nice entry pass from the out-of-bounds point.
This is going to be 2 free throws for her. Haven't seen too much of Buckhart here today. She is a freshman looking to learn the ropes of this program. First free throw a little too strong for her. But again, the Irish are up by 27.
I love her shoes, by the way. Her shoes are fantastic.
Well, I'd have to agree.
Wow.
Second one off the back rim and out.
Almost got that one.
Long pass to Mills. Mills pivoting, gets it back to Collins. Collins, she's going to get hit in the arm there for a foul. And now Collins is going to inbound. It looks like she's not going to have any defense on the inbounds pass, but a substitution will come in for Mahomet. This is going to be Lily Carlson, possibly seeing her first stretch of basketball here tonight. Collins gets it out to Mills. Mills and Collins kind of playing a 2-player game here. Now Steers. See a lot of off-ball movement from the Bulldogs, but not too many baskets created out of it. And that one's going to be tipped out of bounds into the booth, but the officials will call a foul. Inbounds pass here, just in front of our table. And it will be Collins to inbound, as she has done for the majority of this game for Mahomet. And Mills, who you could probably consider who's been the best player for, or Taylor Mills, best player for Mahomet this game, she actually was not part of the starting lineup.
Isn't that something? Yeah, she's come along in the second half. She's been very important and a big contributor.
It's a testament to kind of the depth of this Bulldogs team. Haven't necessarily been able to showcase it due to them going down pretty early in this one. But Collins is going to have some free throws here. Looking to score some more points here.
Nice free throw.
First one up and good for Collins.
You can tell she's worked on those at home, even though she missed that one. That was a nice rotation and good arch.
The rim was not very kind to her on that one.
Not kind.
This is Elam with the ball. Kicks it out. Corey in the corner thought about it. She's going to drive in herself. And they're going to call a foul not in continuation. Third team foul on Mahomet. And there's still 5 minutes left in this quarter. We may see the Irish shooting some free throws, depending on whether they get into the bonus or not.
We're starting to get a few more whistles now.
Game getting a bit more chippy, possibly because you have some newer faces in defense, maybe not being as cohesive on both ends.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we haven't been in the bonus in this game at all, have we?
No, so personally, so they made the rule change with the bonuses from it to be 7 fouls and a half to 5 fouls in the quarter. As I say that, Izzy Corey with another three. I don't think that one even touched the rim.
I just chuckle a little bit because, again, she just caught that and let it fly and put a lot of arch on it, and it went straight through, barely touched the net. Not only the rim, but almost went straight through the basket.
And what you got to love about her and this Peoria team in general is that they play the same for all 32 minutes, regardless of whether they're up by 1 or by 31, which they're up by right now. And that's going to be another steal. Corey off to the races, loses it, gets it back, and decides to slow it down, waiting for some of her teammates to come back so she can set up an offense.
The system has been well coached. You can tell, like you had said earlier, they run the same style no matter what the score.
That shot's going to be blocked by Blair Gable. She's going to take it down the floor, has someone down the court. And that's going to be picked up by Peoria. And then a foul by Gable. You see Buckhart in the game once more.
Nope. I think we just heard they're going to shoot this one.
That is going to be foul number 5 on for the Mahomet-Seymour team as a whole. So again, what I was saying before Corey cut me off with that amazing three-pointer is that when they changed the bonus rules from 7 fouls and a half to 5 fouls in the quarter, the game was much more balanced across both halves. Obviously, you saw a lot of times you would see the first quarter being very like go, 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 not too many breaks. You'd often have to kind of call timeouts in the first quarter, whereas the second and fourth quarters were more a bit dragging a little bit. A lot of free throws the rest of the way, just because the fouls from the first and second quarter are compounding. But given that the total resets, a lot of quarters play out the same, but obviously if it's a close game, the fourth quarter is still going to have a lot of free throws.
That's been a really, I agree, that's been a really nice change that the IHSA made.
It's a good change both for the players when it comes to kind of game flow, but also for fans and viewers of the broadcast as well.
Totally agree, yeah, I agree. It keeps the action balanced. We don't have too many slow quarters. And honestly, the officials have done a very nice job tonight officiating, and there haven't been a lot of whistles, so it's been a pretty clean game, really.
Well, then the IHSA just as a whole, they've been very open with not necessarily experimenting, but more implementing rule changes at the high school level. One that they flirted with for a little bit was the implementation of the shot clock. Now, it has been implemented for some like one-off tournaments that don't happen too often. Sometimes it might be like a high school's hosting a memorial game, or maybe there's a special tournament between two teams that don't generally play each other. I think the rules allow for shot clocks to be in some situations. I know a team I used to follow way up north, just north of Chicago, Evanston Township. They played a game in which there was a shot clock, but the game was just a completely different game. You saw a lot more running up and down, but also you saw a lot more kind of calculated gauging. Okay, I'm going to try and start dribbling now that there's 10 seconds left on the shot clock. It'll be interesting to see what the IHSA does from there. Unfortunately, I am not a part of the IHSA, so you would have to ask the people themselves.
I would ask you, Harvey, when you saw that shot clock, what is the high school shot? Is it 30 seconds, 35? What do they have it set at?
I believe they did put it as 30. I think putting it at 35 is a little bit too long.
Much, yeah,
considering
too long.
how short the quarters are.
Yes.
Considering that it's not 20-minute halves like college or
Correct.
10-minute quarters like college women's. I
So-
think 35 would be a little bit too
Too long, I
Th-
agree.
Then the game becomes a little bit too slow because you could do some mental math here and figure out that maybe the average high school possession without a shot clock, given balancing out maybe the first quarter fast possessions and the fourth quarter slower possessions, whether you got a team with the lead holding onto the ball, it probably averages out to be just a bit under 30 seconds.
I noticed since we're talking about clocks, our clock here is running now. It must be because of the 30-point lead in the fourth quarter.
And they have not been able to get the lead under 30 to kind of stop the clock from running, but either way, the result of this game, pretty much academic at this point. Any bucket they get from here just looks a little bit better on the stat sheet.
That was a nice shot. Yeah, that was
and
a beautiful
as I
shot.
say that, the three from Middleton goes in for Mahomet.
That was a
And
nice
Notre Dame
basket.
just going to slow it down. Looks like they might hold this one and let the clock run out. Very hard-fought game. Good game played by both teams, but it came down to kind of just limiting the mistakes, and Peoria was able to force mistakes on the other end and limit the turnovers of their own in the second half, as well as play behind their stars and their contributors for this game, and that is going to do it. Peoria Notre Dame JV victorious over Mahomet in this one, 52-23. What can you kind of tell us overall about this game, Ron?
Well, again, it just goes back to Notre Dame had a style. You could tell from the opening tip that the style of Notre Dame was to push the ball, find the open player with great passing, and take the shot when you have it and be aggressive.
And just when it looked like, there'd be times when Mahomet, the Bulldogs, they would get a little bit of momentum. You would have maybe a three from Corey or a basket or a very quick layup drive down the floor by Larson. It would just immediately end that momentum. So you would have Peoria in the driver's seat regardless of what the score was.
Yeah, their pressure turned the game early into their favor, and when they created that lead, that was kind of all she wrote for Mahomet. Again, I compliment Mahomet and their coaches and their players. They will win a lot of ball games. They just ran into a really experienced, very well coached Peoria Notre Dame Irish team tonight, and it showed.
They'll likely develop both as individual players and as a team chemistry-wise throughout the season. We may see them again here, whether that be kind of in the greater Peoria area or on one of these broadcasts. Time will tell. But that's going to do it for this JV broadcast. We see varsity warming up here. That broadcast will just be in a little bit here. I'm going to check the time here. It's actually just a little bit past 6:30, so there's going to be a bit of a longer break here on NDTV. But stay tuned because we're going to have varsity action between the Bulldogs and the Irish once more. Thank you for watching the JV broadcast. Stick around for some varsity in just a moment.